What many people may not know about this channel, or about me, is that my start in photography didn't begin with wildlife or birds. My photography journey started here on the back roads of eastern Colorado in 2009 when I saw my first ever storm chaser tornado. Ever since that fateful day near the little town of Elbert, Colorado, my photography addiction has only grown over the years. And fortunately, I can say I think my skill has, well, slightly improved, and my equipment has probably gone through an upgrade as well. And even though I don't chase as much as I once did, inevitably when spring rolls around here in Colorado and the skies come back alive, I'm always down to get back out for a storm chase. So for the first half of the video, we're gonna mix it up a little bit. This is a recent storm chase I did, but stick around because in the second half, we get back to some pretty awesome rare birds that have been in Colorado recently. In the early afternoon of May 24th, I headed out towards my target area for the day, the Palmer Divide here in Colorado. And I won't go into all the nitty-gritty details of the meteorological setup for the day, but just know that the Palmer Divide is known here in Colorado and the chasing world in general as a place where storms can be volatile and sometimes can do some unexpected things. And on this chase, it didn't take long to get on my first severe warned storm of the day. This was just south of Franktown. I tracked along with the storm as it slowly moved to the east, and soon I came upon my first photo opportunity. And don't worry, the horses were perfectly fine. The storm is actually moving away from them. I continued with the storm as it moved east, and as you can hear in this clip, I still had birds on my mind. I wonder if there's any good birds down in there. Oh, unfortunately, I do not have time to look now. What is wrong with me? And as I approached Kiowa, Colorado, the storm had really ramped up, now with a pronounced mesocyclone, even a little bit of a lowering, and I was starting to see broad rotation. I found a spot to pull over, and the time lapse from my dash cam will really show you how much the storm was spinning. I was close enough now to the storm that I was starting to get rained on, but before I backed off, I took one last shot of the storm over this barn, which I thought made a pretty cool black and white shot. As I was repositioning on that first storm, I noticed on radar that it was really starting to weaken, and on top of that, there was a new storm popping up behind me that was really looking impressive. Part of storm chasing is knowing when to drop a storm and go to the better one, so that's what I did. I found a hill with a good view of our new storm, and at first it was looking pretty tame. But as I got closer to the storm, it didn't stay tame for very long. It really started getting its act together, and as I crested up over the top of this hill, it became wicked. Needless to say, when I got up to the top of that hill, I was not expecting a rapidly rotating wall cloud bearing down on me. I took one last still before I jumped in my car and fled to a safe distance. And after I drove about a mile away, I got out of my car and saw this. It certainly wasn't the strongest tornado I've ever seen, and in that moment, I wasn't even sure if it was a tornado. other chaser videos that came out later that night did confirm a ground circulation, so it was indeed a weak tornado. And after about 5 minutes, it dissipated. Okay, well, yes, I've got my beanie on. It is chilly out there. Once storms move through, sort of that post front, it's cold. And we are sitting here looking at kind of the last storm of the day. I'm down here near the small town of Peyton, Colorado. And I think that is probably going to be it for us today. This doesn't look that great. And I think, that'll probably wrap it up. But we have maybe a tornado. I'm not sure on that. I don't think I will know until I can actually get home and look at my photos and video and just see. Another chaser did report a tornado. So I'm not crazy, but as it was happening, we were both just like, or all of us were just like, that's a tornado, right? Like, it has to be, right? It was on a really weird part of the storm, it seemed like. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to go home and actually pull the photos, the video, re-look at radar, and just see what was going on. But, so overall, a pretty fun, and I would say successful chase. I was a bit of a pessimist for today, I admit, when I left this morning, but turned out pretty good. So, anyways, I think that's probably going to be it. Unless something magical happens here at the end, but I think that's probably it. So, see you later. About a week later, I was back on the road and out on the chase again, but this time in a more familiar kind of way. Hello. Welcome back to the channel. It's an emergency broadcast today. I feel like we get like 2 or 3 of these days a year where the rare bird alert goes nuts and you look and see what everyone's freaking out about and you go, whoa, that is one of these days. So I have left work early. I am on the road. And it also seems like whenever one of these really weird, rare visitors comes in, it's always up towards the Boulder-ish area. So that's where I'm headed. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to see quite yet. I just prefer to show you guys once we get there. But I will say that this bird is not a lifer for me. I've actually seen this bird multiple times. I will say, though, if you were a Colorado birder, primarily, then I could easily see how this bird would be a lifer for you, because it certainly should not be here. Shouldn't be anywhere close to here, but she showed up. So, again, no spoiler here. I'll just show you when we get up there. So, I heard there's a crazy amount of people, so let's go get in the mix and take a look. As I made my way up to Boulder on this gloomy afternoon, I kept thinking to myself whether seeing a rare bird is as exciting if the bird itself isn't a lifer for you, or is seeing a rare bird just cool enough on its own? Who cares if it's a lifer? Let me know down in the comments what you think about that. I parked in the long line of cars on the side of the road, and I was ready to go see this bird. And here's a quick look at the scene. She was all the way on the other side of the pond, up at the top of this tree. But as she sat in the top of that tree, she started to look a little bit anxious, and it didn't take long before she took flight. As she hunted for fish in the pond, you could easily see why the Anhinga is sometimes referred to as the snake bird. Their long necks are the only thing that come out of the water when they swim, which resembles, well, a snake. After seeing her catch a bass, she jumped back up into the tree, and in the sprinkling rain, she stayed back a little bit further, hard to see. But still, what an awesome experience to see this bird here in Colorado. Okay, good morning. It is a Saturday morning, and I am out chasing down another rare bird here in Colorado, another pretty good one. Maybe not quite as cool as the Anhinga, which you just saw, but this one is pretty cool and would be a lifer for me too. So I'm on my way out to Cherry Creek Reservoir, not that far away. And yeah, I'm not gonna spoil what it is. I will, again, just try to show you. But yeah, would be a lifer. Again, not a very common Colorado visitor. And yeah, should be pretty cool. So let's get out there, see if we can find it. Fortunately, the location of this bird had been pretty well documented over the past couple of days, so I knew right where to go. And on this morning, it didn't take long for a call to stand out as unusual amongst the yellow warbler calls and Bullock's oriole calls. I followed the call over towards some bushes near the river, and there it was. The prothonotary warbler. The warbler was not only very cooperative while it was hunting for bugs, but it was also really vocal. The warbler then went to the creek to wash its breakfast down, then flew over to a tree and gave us one last call before eventually flying off into the distance. Okay, well, that was, of course, the prothonotary warbler. A very unusual Colorado visitor. Not unheard of course, but very unusual, and especially sort of this late in the spring. But yeah, we kind of waited around. A bunch of other birders showed up. Then we finally heard it singing. Really cool sighting. Happy to have seen it. And yeah, you just just never know what's going to turn up around here. It's so awesome. That's why I love coming after these rare birds, and especially when they pay off. It's just, you always have a chance to go out and see something that you've never seen before. So anyways, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of the storm chasing twist thrown in there too at the beginning. Yeah, again, this kind of was my really main hobby for a very long time, and I still enjoy getting out there when I can. So anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.